Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 509 of the DrunkNerds podcast. I'm, as always, I'm Tyler. And join me, we have the five-star man, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
Let me tell you something, Tyler. I am pretty sore today. And it mostly has to do over the past couple of days at work. Yesterday in particular, because I was out doing my job. I come back into the building. All of a sudden, the fire alarm in my workplace starts going off. And I quickly rush in, and I quickly rush out and stuff and see, because the fire escape door is like right next to like the rear entrance where I generally work at. And I see this dude, like he had clothes like around his neck. He had like this dude was a fucking thief, right? And so he sees me, I see him, and he tries to get by me. We both grab each other. We both are like freaking like tangled into each other, and we fall down the flight of stairs. That's
Oh
like,
my
and
God!
I completely land all 260 plus pounds of me on top of him, and as soon as I know, it's like I pretty much knew we were gonna fall or something like that. It's like, you know what? All right, just use full momentum against him. Did that. Fell on top of him. All these clothes that he had around his neck and everything just go scattered right in the fucking bush, right,
Jesus
right next to the
Christ.
stairs. And what's kind of hilarious and stuff is like he gets up, he starts bolting it. He actually starts bolting it and stuff like that. Like he absolutely regretted every single bit of deciding to try to steal from my workplace. And so it's kind of
Mm.
hilarious. Like I see him running, and I'm like right in the back of him, right? And I'm like screaming at the dude. It's like, don't come back. It's like, get the God out of here. And he's just, I never have seen a man run so fast in my life. He was literally scared shitless. But the funniest part is my boss.
I sorry, just imagine you like, I don't know if you ever seen the movie Superbad,
Yeah,
but there's this part where Seth Rogen, he plays a cop in the movie, and he's trying to chase Michael Cera's character,
yeah.
and I think he like had alcohol or something like that, and Seth Rogen's like, Michael Cera gets away, and Seth Rogen's partner is like, "Well, did you get him?" And he's like, "He's the fastest kid alive." Never seen someone move so fast. That's why I just imagine you doing there. He's the fastest guy alive.
Oh, no, 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 no,
I've
no.
never seen someone move so
I didn't
fast.
run after him. I just wanted him just to get the hell out of Dodge,
Yeah.
because it's
Okay.
like he didn't steal anything. I mean,
Mm.
the thing is, my boss and my other coworkers were keeping tabs on him throughout that whole hour since we opened the store, right? And it's like the moment that because I had a feeling that this dude that they were keeping tabs on would try to exit out of the fire escape, so I kept on in the back. This was after I got done helping a couple people. The fire alarm goes off, all that train of events happen and stuff like that. And so, like a minute after that happens, right? My boss comes out of the fire escape and stuff. And from her perspective, she sees all these clothes in the bush. She sees a fucking shoe on the other side. That's my shoe. That's right down there. And she just sees this dude just booking it and stuff, and me like right on his ass. I'm like, what the? And I had to go forth to get my shoe, right? But well, let's just say that I'm pretty kind of sore and tired for today, and it's basically what ended up happening was as soon as that happened, my boss, we called the cops obviously and stuff. We wanted to try to go. We just went through and just reported like we wanted to ban that dude if they can identify the dude from the camera footage and stuff. Just ban him and whatever. And
Yeah.
what's kind of hilarious is like the cop just looks at me, he has a little cricket smile on his face, like, just I said, just don't tackle anybody, okay? It's like that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, yes, yes, officer, thank you.
Yeah. Sound advice.
The funniest part
Uh,
is I didn't tackle him. Him and I just pretty much got just like
you
tangled
just ran
together.
into each other.
Yeah, here's the thing about the staircase in of itself that he was escaping from. It's like barely like a little bit wider than I am, right? And so
Mm.
he was trying to wedge the side of me. Like he got his hands on me. I had my hands on him, and our fucking momentum goes. We bend the sign that's like right over, like
God, Jesus
nearest,
Christ,
right? And
Gables.
it's fucking, I just fucking fall on top of him like full force and stuff. And so it's like I wasn't really like hurt hardly at all. Maybe some bruises and aches and pains, right? Like my heel and stuff, and like part of my like stomach right here is like a little bit sore, or where initially where I landed. But let's just say that it became like almost like a running thing now from my coworkers and stuff. It's like, well, we could put even my freaking like supervisors tell my boss like, well, we know what to put on Gabe's resume. I'm like, what's it's like thief deterrent.
Yeah. Just like
Oh
put
god.
like get a TV in there and like put on if you have a too bad you don't have that on camera. Just like put it on loop. This is what happens if you steal, and it's just you like throwing a guy down the stairs. What they
Um,
should do is that it's that one episode of Monday Night Raw from way
yeah.
back when Randy Orton kicks McFoley down the stairs. We should like Photoshop your head on a Randy Orton and that thief's face onto McFoley.
Dude, no, you just take the commentary of that. You just see the footage of me just falling on top of the dude down the stairs.
You just hear Jim Ross, "Good God Almighty, man's got a family, God damn it."
But
Jerry King.
yeah, listeners, it's like this is the second time this year this stupid shit like that has ended up at my workplace and stuff, and it just it happened so quick, right? It's not like I was initially trying to initiate this dude or anything else like that. He just came full on blazing, and I just managed to be there at the right time. Like, what the hell's going on the fire escape? I'm like, oh crap.
Yeah. Well, we got a new nickname for Gables. He's no longer the 5-star man. He's no longer the man, the myth, the legend. He's now the retired Ray Lewis, Sir Colonel Gables.
Retired Ray Lewis. What the fuck?
Yeah, yeah. It's time we told you guys. Gables is actually Ray Lewis. You might have seen. I know they look kind of familiar. It's because they're the same person.
You want to know what's hilarious though? Like after that initially.
Are you gonna tell me you're actually Ray Lewis this whole time?
No,
Okay.
no. No, the most hilarious thing is after that happened and like I finally like the adrenaline was starting to come. Like I initially came back to my workplace. All of a sudden I let out this big old like woo.
Adrenaline kicked in.
Yeah, let's just say when my adrenaline kicked in, I started to act like a fucking NFL player.
Yeah. Acting like Ric Flair. Pick up your alligator. That's my alligator shoe over there. I'm gonna pick that up.
Oh Jesus Christ.
That's fucking funny. Well, good for you,
Dude.
Gables. Good for you. But seriously, we're getting old, Gables. You shouldn't be throwing yourself downstairs anymore.
Oh.
You think you feel bad now? Wait till tomorrow.
Well, you know what? It's like it wasn't necessarily throwing him down the stairs. It's more like that he was my cushion while I landed on top of him.
Well, that's good. Yeah, it's more like falling with style.
It was more like Hollywood style. That's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. The part Gables didn't tell you is the guy's actually dead. Gables killed a guy. I heard he killed a guy. That's all I'm gonna. That's your new name. I heard he killed. Like Ray Lewis. I heard he killed a guy. Oh my God! It's all making so much more sense now.
Oh, goddamn COVID cough.
Oh God, this is fucking funny. Oh man, you know what? Things are starting to add up here. I'm starting to think maybe this whole time I've been talking to Ray Lewis. Fun fact: Ray Lewis is a VTuber. That's not actually Gables is a made-up character. Oh boy! Everybody,
right.
welcome Ray Lewis to the show.
So, how have you been?
Well, I can't top that at all. No, I'm doing okay. You know, it was a long, shitty week. But it was a good weather day. You know, got some bad news earlier, like right before we hopped on the Skype call. Unfortunately, tomorrow we got to put down my one of my family's dogs, so Jack. So that's good. You know, that's pretty rough. Got a good 20-minute cry in, so I will try not to cry for the next hour or so. We're doing this podcast, but tomorrow's gonna be a bittersweet day. But doing okay right now. You know, it's always nice to do this podcast, kind of drink a few beers, bullshit with Gables, aka Ray Lewis, and have a good time doing something I love, talking about video games. So why don't you say we get into it, Gables?
Okay.
All right. Well, before we actually do that, thank you so much for watching this or listening to us. Please look down in the show notes. You'll see links to all of our socials, our places the podcast is located: YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter. All those places, we're on them. Please go like, follow, subscribe, leave 5-star reviews, tell your friends, share, please. Those are big things that really help us out. I do appreciate. I posted my Victory Royale I got in Fortnite on our channel the other day, and it's got like 600 plus views, which is great for us. So I think I want to try to do that a little more often, Gables. You know, if you you clip any fun things out while you're playing games, you know, send them my way, and I'll post them on the channel.
Okay.
And you have access to the channel as well, so if you want
Yeah.
to post them, you can.
Yeah.
So I got a few clipped out, like maybe every week or two we can throw those out because those seem to kind of nice way to get some views for us. So throw some content in the middle of the week too to kind of keep us a little more going. Kind of play the content game, as they say. But anyways, Gables, like I said, this is a video game podcast, so let's talk about some video games here. Embracer Group has embraced everybody. I'm not going to make the joke about how Embracer Group can embrace us because everybody else has made it already. It was a very funny joke the first time I read it, but and I would have said the same thing. I'm not talking shit, but then everybody else said it, so it's like, well, okay, that joke's played out. But anyways, whenever I think of Embracer Group, I think of the villains from Guardians of the Galaxy, the video game.
Oh yeah.
The shiny gold people. For some reason, I just think of them when I think of Embracer Group, embracing everybody. But anyways, they've been buying up everybody. Like they're like, I think they own like Koch Media, Coke Media, Koch
Koch Media.
Koch Media. And then they changed their name. I don't know if you saw the headline, Gables. They changed their name because people and they said because people had issues pronouncing it outside of, because they're a big company in like Europe. I think they're Swedish. I know Embracer Group is Swedish, but they changed their name to spelled Plaion, and they said it sounds just as it's spelled. So then everybody's like, was it Playon or Playon or Plyon? Plyon? So it's actually called Playon. But
Playon. Okay.
Yeah, but why would you make it? I feel like they're fucking with us. It's like, wait, you guys had a really okay, because your word spelled Koch.
Yeah.
So it's Koch Media, because that's how it was pronounced. I think maybe they're German. I can't remember where they're from, but from their country in Europe somewhere.
Yeah.
That it actually makes sense. But everywhere else, it's like, well, is that Coke? Is that Cock? Is it Koch? But then they changed their name, and it's still confusing. Anyways, Embrace Group's buying everybody. Like they bought like Crystal Dynamics and Square Enix Montreal, and fuck, there was another group they bought. I can't think of the name. Anyways,
yeah.
But they bought those 3 studios from Square Enix earlier this year. Well, and they bought they're buying all the IPs. Like they bought Borderlands. They bought the people that make Borderlands. What is it? What's the name of them?
Oh my god. Gearbox.
Gearbox. Thank you. Yeah, but I mean they're literally just buying up everything. They're embracing everybody. So anyways, Embrace Group acquired the Middle Earth Enterprises Limited Run and Sting Tricks, also Tripwire Interactive and Tuxedo Labs. They also okay, no, that's it. All right, sorry, I'm kind of going with my bullet points here. Embracer has done an additional acquisition that remains unannounced. Aggregated upfront purchase prices reaches $576 million. So okay. I don't know if that's the price for just that one studio or if that's the price for everything. But they bought all these studios, and there's one that they're not announcing for commercial reasons, they said. But it's not like, they said it's like the 3rd or 4th biggest, one of their bigger ones. So it's nothing huge. It's not going to be like, some people were like, oh, maybe it's Ubisoft. It's like, no, like we're talking probably, $100, $200 million kind of buy. Like most of the studios they buy are like small studios, anywhere from a couple dozen people to, I think their biggest studio has like 100 people. Well, because they officially don't own like Crystal Dynamics and stuff yet. But that's kind of the idea. Like, I mean, because this is like originally like the THQ Nordic people, which they still own THQ Nordic, but they're the people above them. Right. And they're buying up all these like small mid-tier studios, stuff like that. But anyways, so some stuff here. I took a lot of stuff from GameIndustry.biz here. They did a really good write-up. Among the purchases, Embracer entered into an agreement to acquire Middle Earth Enterprises, a division of the Saul Zantes company, which has owned the IP rights to Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit for over 50 years. Embracer said that the acquisition may also include matching rights and other Middle Earth-related literary works authorized by the Tolkien estate and HarperCollins, which have yet to be explored. Embracer said the acquisition was in line with the IP-driven transmedia strategy and expressed interest in exploring additional movies based on iconic characters such as Gandalf, Aragorn, Gollum, Galadriel. I'm fucking that up. Eon. What are these Pokemon? And other characters from literary works of J.R.R. Tolkien and continue to provide new opportunities for fans to explore the fictive world through merchandising and other experiences. So, what's interesting, it's very confusing. So, like Amazon literally has that new show coming out. I believe it comes out this month.
Right.
Um, I think it's like next week, maybe. I could be wrong. That takes place because the Tolkien estate, which they are um, they're very hands on with what happens to their IP and like
Right.
what can and can't use the Lord of the Ring title. So like there's those Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor games that
Right.
don't have Lord of the Rings in the title because they wouldn't give them the rights to it. And I think part of it too is also like if it's not based on the books itself, they won't allow you to use the Lord of the Rings
Mm.
name. So like they're like that's why part of that. And like the Amazon stuff uses. So there was a book. There's been he wrote J.R.R. Tolkien wrote a handful of other books that were expanded universe stories. And one of the last ones he wrote, he actually died while still writing it. It's called like I can always forget what it's called. It's like Sommelier or something like that. It starts. It's like can't remember what it's called. Anyways, I'm sure people are yelling at me right now. I'm sure listening to this later. But it's a bunch of short stories that kind of explores the. Is a book, but like I said, a bunch of short stories that explores like talks about like kind of fills out the universe like stuff before Lord of the Rings, before The Hobbit, afterwards, stuff like that. And this new Amazon show is going to be taking place hundreds of years, and it's supposed to take a lot of stuff from that book. It's supposed to take hundreds of years before The Hobbit, and takes some of the elements from those stories for that show. WB still owns the rights to the movies, so like The
Right.
Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings
Yeah.
trilogies. Um, but there's some confusion, like, and that's part that like people are like kind of confused by because like WB might try to argue with them because like I guess they're like in an argument with Tolkien and with WB because it's kind of like so like Sony had this issue with Spider-Man a while back where they
Okay.
kept rebooting Spider-Man after the Tobey Maguire stuff fell apart. They quickly rebooted the Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield because they had a deal with I believe Marvel when they bought it was they had to keep pumping out Spider-Man movies, otherwise the IP would revert back to them. And
Right.
now we're seeing that with Sony and Disney, where they every 3 years they have to put out a new Spider-Man movie. Otherwise, like the deal is like voided out, and they can't make Spider-Man movies anymore with the MCU.
Right.
Um, so it sounds like because WB went so long without any like Lord of the Ring projects, the movie stuff reverted back to the Tolkien estate, and that's their argument. But WB is still kind of like arguing it. I don't know what's going on with that. It's all very confusing. So like the Tolkien aspect, they still own all the books, and all like they don't own like the printing side of things. I don't know if they can like I don't know. It's very confusing. I don't really know what the hell they got here. Like okay, they have the rights to the movies stuff like that, but like I don't know like can they still call things Lord of the Rings like I said, the Tolkien family is very restrictive on what happens with their franchise. But I don't know. I don't know. Before I don't know. It's just very confusing. Like the more I try to read into it, the more confused I get because I think I got it, and then I'll read another story, and like I don't know. I mean, do you have anything on the Lord of the Rings stuff?
Well, in regards to like the whole buying of like this initial like Lord of the Rings stuff, I mean, it makes a lot of sense for a bracer group to go forth and try to secure because of how like well how like not just luxurious but like how recognizable like Lord of the Rings is as
Mm-hmm.
a franchise, the specific characters and this and that. Because having ownership of that, they can always go forth and have like a specific studio go forth and create specific types of games instead of using that IP if they choose to. But yeah, yeah, even like with the examples you were giving and stuff, especially the ones with Amazon, to where it initially it says it's Lord of the Rings, but I think it's like somewhat kind of not Lord of the Rings in itself
Yeah, it's called
because
like
of
Ring of
that.
Power. I can't remember what it's called, but like Lord of the Rings is not in the title.
Yeah, that's partially probably the reason why that they didn't allow him to use the title Lord of the Rings. It's probably because that it's not readily like referencing the books or any type of novels that J.R.R. Tolkien did initially. So it's like kind of like an offshoot thing or whatever the hell type of thing of its own, and it's like, yeah, in that regards, I can understand why they would initially want to go through if it's like deviating past what, say, J.R.R. Tolkien may have wanted in regards to this stuff. But as far as the Embracer Group goes, I think that was a smart pickup by them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, especially because like when they like the token state, they basically put it up for sale
Hmm.
a year ago,
Oh,
and they were wanting like 2 billion for it,
shit.
which doesn't seem crazy expensive with what stuff's going for right now, especially everybody buying stuff. And then it sounds like they got them for, we don't know the full price, but probably 400 or 500 million, which if they're planning on putting a bunch of movies out, like they could probably put out one movie and make all that money back. So
Yeah,
that's pretty stunning that that happened. I think like Amazon paid like $100 million just to have the rights to make the TV show.
right.
So they could have just bought the whole IP and just made it without paying that additional fee. I don't know. It's wild.
That's
Um,
hilarious that Amazon initially possibly could have bought that whole IP if the people that still owned it, like the group that owned the J.R.R. Tolkien's like Lord of the Rings stuff, wanted to sell to Amazon, but I think it's kind of hilarious that they didn't sell to Amazon as opposed to just go ahead and just give all that stuff to Embracer Group.
wait, it sounds like they're just going to like the highest bidder,
Yeah,
which
sounds about
I
right.
don't think they cared who got it. It's probably just like, like, but like the fact they were wanting 2 billion and they probably got 400 or 500 million for it, that probably tells you that there wasn't a lot of people
Demand.
bidding on it. But maybe it was just they wanted like maybe like Amazon and Disney and all the other places they wanted like we want everything, not just we want the book rights, we want everything, and maybe they're like no, like you can get this. So maybe that I don't know, maybe that was the holdup. But the other things they required, like we talked about here, they required limited runs, which they do like collector editions for a lot of smaller games. Like that's why I bought like the Hyper Light Drifter. I own the PS4 and
Right.
Switch versions. Um, a lot of like indie games that only come out digitally. They'll make a small batch of physical versions. Um, and I bought like I said, I bought a handful from them. They do some really cool collector editions, like that's some really cool Celeste ones back in the day, and like I always see some cool shit on there that I always want to buy. But usually really cool shit sells out really fast. So they bought them. They bought Sing Tricks, which I've never heard of, but apparently they are a vocal processing effects technology company for karaoke gaming and entertainment. Um, and then the group also announced the acquisition of Killing Floor and Maneater developer Tripwire Interactive
Hmm.
and its publishing arm Tripwire Presents, as well as Teardown developer Tuxedos. So kind of more along the line what we're used to. Like they bought like Dark Horse Comics. They bought I can't think of the name of the company, but they bought the company I believe that makes like the really cool expensive like statues for like video games and anime and stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah. I think I've heard of those too.
I can't think of the name of that company. But yeah, this is kind of like among the lines what they buy. Like we were all pretty shocked to think by the Lord of the Rings things is pretty big, I think, and then like the Crystal Dynamics stuff is big because that's usually that's like they this is like tiers above like what they do like Crystal Dynamics and like Lord of the Rings is like that's a top tier franchise. Crystal Dynamics and Square Enix Montreal and stuff like that, like they put out pretty big games. That's like way above like where they're mostly putting out like a lot of remasters. Like they just had that THQ Nordic, which is a part of them. Like they're like remastering a bunch of old games and then like putting out sequels to like we talked about last week with that THQ Nordic thing, where it's like they go like, hey, remember this game? It's like no, that was a PC game from like '95, or like
Yeah, the obscure ones.
yeah, or like they're bringing back they're bringing back Alone in the Dark, or they're like I mean like yeah they bought Gearbox and stuff, but they don't
Right.
own the rights to Borderlands. Like
Right,
2K
right.
still Take Two or 2K whatever, one of those two still owns the same company, still owns the rights to Borderlands. So it's like cool, you bought this company that's known for one game and you don't own the rights to the game. So I don't know. Any thoughts on this one, Gables?
Well, to be perfectly honest with you and stuff, I really don't have too much left to actually contribute to this topic in and of itself, only because it's like we know Embracer Group has been heavily investing upon different studios, different types of different types of fields. It seems like not just video games, but movies and like all this other
Yeah,
stuff. They kind of
they
feel
bought.
like they are slowly becoming yeah, they're just like slowly becoming like a big entity inside of the gaming space to where it's like they are starting to become as big, if not trying to be as big as like a Sony or a Microsoft right at this moment with
Mhm.
their acquisitions because they're quickly expanding in such a short amount of time, at least over the past 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, yeah. Like well, like I think they own over 100 studios at this point, which is
Yeah,
pretty big. Where I think like Xbox like was considered huge when they owned like just over 30. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but like I said, like a lot of these studios, a lot of these teams are like they're pretty small. You know, a couple dozen, some as small as a dozen, up to like 100. So they're not huge, but like I just don't know what the end game is because like they're spending all this money on these smaller, not tiny, but like smaller studios that maybe have a hit or two on their hand, or like they made like a really good game a long time ago,
Hmm.
or they made like not even a really good game, like the Darksider games. Like they bought the team that made those, and they remastered those, and then they put out the third one. Um, it's like they, I just don't really know what like is it working? Like all we ever hear about
Hmm.
them, I feel like all we ever talk about is how they buy studios. We never talk about the games they put out.
Well, their
Like they did
income
the
has to be, yeah, exactly the point. It's like the income has to be coming from somewhere, and plus the
well,
initial goal of this damn group in general, there has to be something that's along the lines that they're aiming for, or else why would they be accumulating so many different studios?
I mean it's a big they're a big company that has billions of dollars, and they got big investments from
Hmm.
Tencent and Saudi Arabia, so they have that on
Mm,
their
okay.
so yeah. I think they got $1 billion from Saudi Arabia. So and then
Okay.
I don't remember what Tencent gave them, but it was I mean I'm sure it was a decent chunk. They give they put a lot of money into things, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know where they're going with this.
Hmm.
Is all. It's like what are we? And it just keeps happening. Like, this happens. It seems like every few months, and they always announce it at like 1 in the morning, my time. It's like I wake up and I'm like, oh, they just like 1 in the morning they announced about Crystal Dynamics. Like what?
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know. I want like this has been going on for several years now. It's like cool. Like when like I know they probably put out a bunch of games we don't know about, but it's like you go to these places like do something with it. I don't know. It's really weird. Um, let's move on though.
Okay.
1 second here. Sorry, type this in before I forget. Um, sorry, there's someone else on my door again. Anyways, Dead Island 2 it leaked on Amazon of all places. Uh, so what's interesting about this game is it was announced at E3 2014 at PlayStation, at PlayStation's E3 event. And then they were shown off again at Gamescom in 2014. So in August, so 2 months after they announced it, they showed it again.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're CGI trailer. They had that one with like the guys running down the beach,
Yes.
and then like he's like then the zombies are chasing him, and then Goat Simulator made the joke and fucked her at Summer Games Fest and tricked everybody into thinking, oh my God, Dead Island 2. And it's like, oh no, it's Goat Simulator, which is a great joke. And then all of a sudden, the box art and the listing goes up for Dead Island 2. It's coming to everything. As far as like the date, obviously could be a placeholder, but it's February 3rd. Usually when it's a placeholder, it's like December 31st or September 30th. Like it's the last day of a quarter. This is a very specific day. I believe February 3rd is also a Tuesday, if I remember correctly. But also they even had like they had some screenshots, they had everything. So they actually had a synopsis here. Dead Island 2 takes players across the most iconic locations in the City of Angels. That's Los Angeles, for people who don't know. Now
Right.
staying with horror and an exciting pulp journey in verdant suburbia of Beverly Hills. On their minds, Beverly Hills. To the quirky pro, promi, promid, oh Jesus Christ, promen. Oh, boy, I'm really
Proletariat.
Promenade. Promenade, whatever. Of Venice Beach. Wow. I don't know what's going on with
Providence.
me. What?
I'm just pulling your leg at this point.
Okay, I'm like, what the fuck is happening here? Um, there are 6 characters to choose from, each with their own unique personality and dialogues. You can fully customize the abilities of each Slayer with our brand new skill system, allowing you to respect instantly and try out the craziest builds. So I noticed this has like a troubling development. So the publisher originally was Deep Silver, um, which dropped originally had Jaeger Development working on it, and then they dropped them from the project in July 2014. So in between them announcing it and then re-showing it 2 months later at Gamescom, they already dropped Jaeger development, with a new developer not signing on until March 2016. So nearly 2 years later, they had Sumo Digital take it over. Um, then they were bought by Koch Media, bringing them up again.
Yeah.
Well, their parent company is Koch Media, now Play On. Um, so they were acquired by THQ Nordic in 2018. Following the acquisition, THQ Nordic announced on August 2019 that the Homefront Revolution developer, I forgot they bought them too, Dam Buster Studios has taken over the game. Oh, and somewhere during the same year, THQ Nordic became Embracer Group. So yeah,
God dang.
so I'm guessing. No, so they took over in August 2019. Dam Buster Studios did. So I'm guessing that they're the ones still working on it. But I don't know. I mean, Gable, did you ever play Dead Island back in the day?
I'll be perfectly honest with you, dude. I never played Dead Island when it first came out. I remember seeing reviews of it, and the only thing I remember about that game is one of the dudes that just says, "Who do you voodoo, bitch?" And that's it.
You remember the awesome reveal trailer they had where it was like the music and it played backwards?
Yeah.
The that was like that I think that trailer is the only thing that's ever been cool about this franchise. They did like that Riptide like island game that was like a
Oh yeah.
Xbox Live Arcade game that was I think it was one of the worst reviewed games the year it came out. Um, but like I remember buying Dead Island because the hype was so. I mean, it was really hype. And people were like talking about it was a four-player. You know, it was a four-player game. It was just basically like a open world game where you go fuck around with your buddies. You know, it was like I
Yeah,
think it was
it
like
was a game during that time and stuff to where it's like it was hyped up and it was like a four-player type of co-op type of experience and stuff. It was supposed to be sort of that type of survival type of game that people
yeah,
have been wanting at that time and stuff. Like you had the original, then you had Riptide. Not a lot of people did like Riptide, like you had
nobody liked
mentioned and
Riptide.
stuff. But in between that and where we are right now, it's like Dead Island 2 getting announced in 2014, and then all of a sudden all that shit happens and stuff, and like 8 years later, quintessentially, almost 9 years later, we're getting the sequel.
Yeah, so Gamescom is next week. We're gonna
Mhm.
talk about that a little later. So I'm guessing that was supposed to be a part of this. That's why.
Yep.
It just went up early. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of curious. Like, I'm more interested now. Like, what is this game at this point? Like I said, like I mentioned, there's what one Jaeger to Sumo to there's one other company. So four different studios who worked on this game. Um, and
Yeesh.
four other companies that bought the studio that owns the rights to the game. So in that time frame. So I don't know. It's very interesting. So I just want to know what this game is at this point. Like if this game comes out and it's any good, that's I think if this game comes out and it's like a 7, like call
Uh,
this a W.
yeah, that would be a W instead of
Yeah,
this game's tumultuous freaking development cycle. Like,
yeah, because like
yeah.
that first game was it was fine. It was like clunky and kind of. I mean, it was like fun and it was kind of like adorable and like oh you're kind of fucked up but you're kind of cute kind of way.
Uh-huh.
Um, but yeah, I remember like buying it. Like I said, I got into the hype and like it was fine by itself. But it was like it was really cool because like those games weren't like yeah those games were getting bigger, but like back then like those games weren't as prominent as they are now. Where like every
No.
game nowadays is a 4-player co-op game. Like back then you only had like a handful of like noticeable ones come out a year. So I don't know. Like I'm glad it's cool it's still happening, but it's just crazy like that you know that I mean I don't know. I'm just shocked that it's even happening in the first place. And then like the team that originally made the Dead Island actually made the Dying Light games. So like they've
Ah.
gone on to much bigger and better things because
Oh yeah.
Dying Light 1 I remember it came out a lot of people really get excited about. I remember Jake had it in his top 10 list that year it came out. And it came out Dying Light 2 finally came out this year and people have been pretty positive about it. Like not like game of the year, but
Well, yeah,
a
it's
very
based
solid like 8 out of 10.
exactly. It's like Dying Light 2 has been quintessentially the game that came out. People thought it was good and stuff like that, but it wasn't like say readily as a disappointment or something. But yeah, it basically got like sixes, sevens, and stuff like that across the board and stuff. And yeah,
Gables, are you gonna? I believe it's on my Fantasy Critic League. I'm gonna look it up right now.
what?
Don't disparage giving it sixes. Sixes, Gables? Six. It's got a 76 on OpenCritic.
Okay, so the culmination of everything else got sort of the 76.
You're goddamn right. Don't disparage my goddamn game. Got me 6 points. I need every point I can get right now. But Gables, let's move on here.
Okay.
Let's talk about some NPDs, my favorite thing
All
of
right.
the month. So, pretty interesting month. So, overall, video game sales is down 9% year over year. Which last month it was down 11% year over year, and I've seen a lot of people kind of freaking out about that. But this is something we talked about. We literally been talking about this for 2 years, that this time was coming.
Yes.
Video games blew the fuck up in spring 2020.
Yep.
And they just kind of kept, and then we had, because of COVID, and then COVID's still happening, new consoles came out, that kind of kept going, Animal Crossing, all that shit. Like, video games blew up during COVID. Like, I think bicycle sales and video game sales were like the two highest peaking things during COVID, because people need something to do. And then children, I think spiked too in that time, because it's like those are like the only three things you do. I think is play video games, ride bicycles, and fuck. So I gotta sneeze. Whoo! Give me a second. It's coming. It's coming. It's gone. It's gone. What's gonna happen is in like 2 minutes from now, it's gonna fucking just explode out of nowhere out of me. But Gables, yeah, like I said. Anyways, down 9%. I think this is gonna happen. We're at that time now. Is they're going down. Sounds like unit sales of like actual consoles is going up. So it sounds like we are slowly getting better at putting out the new consoles like the Xbox
Right.
and then the PlayStation. So I've been seeing a lot more PlayStations pop up for sale lately, following like Wario 64 and Cheap Ass Gamer on Twitter. They're like constantly posting PlayStations going up on sale. Even like Xbox Series S right now, there's a deal going on this week. If you buy an Xbox Series S, you get a free game with it, and it's not just like a cheap game. It's like a brand new game. Like you get like Madden or pretty much any game out right now, you can just get for free with it. So the fact that we're getting like bundles with a free game is pretty crazy. So
Yeah.
we're getting back to normal on that state. So we've still got a long ways to go, but we're getting better. But let's get into this top 20. A very interesting month. We're going to see a lot of old stuff, but I think there's some interesting things in here. So number 20, Monster Hunter Rise. So that's because that DLC that came out June 30th.
Yes.
Like I said, this is the July NPDs here. Oddly here, number 19, Call of Duty Black Ops 3.
Okay, that's really weird.
I don't know why. That's from like 2017 or 2018.
Yeah, like around 2018.
Yeah, and that was
That
wait,
was
no.
That one's not even supposed to be one of the better Call of Duties either. I mean, that's kind of
Wait,
weird.
no, this is older than that game. Black Ops 4 was 2018, I believe. This was like 2016. Why?
My guess is either one of a couple different things. Maybe at retailers they had a lot of deals and that thing was getting clearanced. I mean,
I don't.
or
It
it
doesn't
could
even
be,
have.
I don't understand why exactly. Maybe there was some form of like, not even like just the clearance
But
stuff.
are there new
retail.
copies out there? Like this
There
has to be
have
like.
to be. I mean, there has to be new copies of this game.
Well, this
being
could
put
be like
out.
Steam or this could be digital, but I don't. I just don't. I got a runny nose here. I just don't know what the fuck we're. What?
I know, right? It's so weird seeing a Call of Duty game like, say, Black Ops 3 being inside the top 20 for the NPDs when that game has literally been out for years at this point and stuff, and it's
Yeah.
not the focal Call of Duty that is out.
Oh, 7 Call of Duties ago. I don't know. I don't get it. Like we'll see games spike up here every now and again. Like we had like Final Fantasy VII Remake spike last month. That's because it came to Steam, and then or in June I should say, they spiked in June. That's because it came to Steam, and also they announced the sequel. So like I'm sure a lot of people want to bought it. Like Overwatch spiked last in June because of Overwatch 2 being announced. They had like a big sale going on with that, like a final push before they end the game. But moving on here, I don't understand that one at all. Number 18, Far Cry 6. Number 17, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. That's not super crazy. That's from 2020, so and people don't really care for the Vanguard one, even though it's selling pretty well. It's still a major disappointment for them. Number 16, kind of taking a big drop here. Nintendo Switch Sports dropped from 7th to 16th, but it's been out for,
Yeah.
was it April?
Yeah, it's been out for a few months now in regards to that. So seeing it drift down is not a surprise.
Yeah. And this doesn't include digital sales. I think it was $10 cheaper digitally. So
Something like that.
yeah, because you don't get
Because
the leg strap.
yeah, the leg strap is why it's like $10 more.
Yeah. Number 15, we get Pokemon Legends Arceus. 14, speaking of Overwatch, still in the top. It's still in that top 20 list.
Oh yeah.
13, Animal Crossing New Horizons, still holding in there. 12, Smash Bros. Ultimate. 11, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. 10, F1 2022. Number 9, Minecraft. Who doesn't own Minecraft? I think outside of you and me, I don't know anybody who doesn't own Minecraft. Number 8, a big surprise here for me, Gables. Digimon Survive.
Digimon Survive, the new Digimon
I
game.
heard that game is awful.
I've actually heard a lot of mixed things in regards to it, to where it's basically sort of like a graphic novel with like Digimon battles instead of like a turn-based RPG type of stuff.
That sounds
Which
awful.
I've seen some bits of footage of it. I'm still trying to piece together a lot of what exactly it is, but yet it sold quite a few copies.
Yeah, I good for them, I guess. I just okay. I mean, to be fair, yeah, in July there wasn't anything big coming out. Uh,
I
so
guess so, if like people were more excited to get the new Digimon game
yeah.
during
So I
this
feel like
time.
yeah, you just put a game out in July, you probably got a top 10 or top 20, except for Live Alive. But Nintendo doesn't give out digital sales, so maybe that's why. Number 7, Mario Kart 8. Number 6, MLB The Show 2022. Number 5, Call of Duty Vanguard, of course. Even though it's a
Okay.
disappointment and no one likes it, it's still one of the best selling games of the year.
Yeah, go figure.
Um, Number 4, Gables. This is a big one. Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
The January NPDs, it basically was on there for like what, 2 days?
The weekend, that first weekend.
That first weekend.
Yeah.
And it literally sold as well as like freaking fourth place. That's crazy.
Yeah. And this, I think they said it was the best selling Xenoblade game yet.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, it seems like that franchise is, if anything is done outside of like maybe Animal Crossing, I don't know what IP has probably gained the most than a Xenoblade. As far as like going from here to like steps up. Like obviously like Zelda was huge before, Mario was huge before. Those games were big before. But like I feel like yeah, like we definitely have like put Xenoblade and Animal Crossing. It seems like Xenoblade not to like the mainstream, but like they've gone up a couple tiers.
Well,
I think in the eyes.
this is definitely like a major victory for not only that franchise, but like major fans for the Xenoblade Chronicles series, because this thing came from humble beginnings when people were clamoring to try to get that game on that franchise released on the Wii, and then when eventually that happened, and then like all of a sudden the implementation of Shulk and other like Xenoblade Chronicles stuff inside of Smash, and then Smash is what propelled eventually into getting a sequel and stuff in the 2017, and even like Xenoblade Chronicles X on Wii U and all this other shit. There's been a ton of positive stuff that's been going on with Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and not only in terms of the direct stuff, but also in terms of advertising for the game, and like a lot of positive word of mouth. And then yeah, even some of the impressions for some YouTubers from them playing it, they liked how simplistic a lot of the stylings and everything else was for that game. But yeah, I'm relatively happy that it's probably going to be the best selling game in the series,
Mm-hmm.
obviously.
And it got me 19 points on our Fantasy Critic League, so
Yeah.
I like it even more. And number 3 here, Gables, only dropping one spot. Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, of
No.
course. It's been in the top 2 every month since it launched in April. First time it's dropped down to top. It's dropped all the way down to 3. So, and then another game that's been 1 or 2 every month since it launched. And this is actually the first time since April that this game and Skyward Saga weren't 1 and 2. Like they've
Jesus
been like
Christ.
they've been flip flopping around a little bit, but it's the first time since February actually that Elden Ring wasn't number 1.
Wow.
Well, other like I said, there was a 1 month where Skywalker Saga took over. So Elden Ring number 2 dropped all the way down from 1, big drop. I think people are finally figuring out the game's not good. And number 1, Gables, it's a brand new game that came out in the month of July.
Mm.
What do you think it is? It's a big game everybody's talking about.
All right, in July, huh?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You'll never get it. I can give you 100 guesses. I don't think you'd ever get it. I don't think there was 100 games that came out in July.
Is it Alive?
You've played it.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I have played this thing too.
It's not Live though. It's a game that came out in July that you played it. You played it on your PlayStation.
Okay. That I have played it on the PlayStation.
You played it like a couple weeks ago.
Oh God, yeah, of course. A couple of weeks ago. Then I'm gonna remember that shit. God damn it.
It's like the only thing you played on your PlayStation in like 3 months.
What is it, Destiny? It's not Destiny 2.
No, it's a brand new game. It came out in July.
God damn it, dude.
You downloaded it.
I know I've downloaded.
It's free to download.
Oh my God, a free to download and play. Oh, Jesus Christ. Was it? No. God damn it. Why can't I? It's bad where I can't even remember what the fuck I played a few weeks ago.
Gables. Scooby-Doo's in it.
Multiverse. God.
Multiverse is it. Yes. I'm glad you were able to pull that one up. Like as soon as I said it, 2 seconds later you had it. You knew it. Yeah. So Multiverses, a free-to-play game, is the number 1 best-selling game of the month of July, and that is solely because of the founder pack. So the founder pack counts as like sales of a game. So they, for like people don't know, like for a couple weeks before the game officially came out free to play, they're putting out like founder pack. I think it was like $40 or $50 maybe. There was different. I think there was different tiers actually. I think there was like $100 tier, and like the $100 tier like unlocked all the characters. It basically unlocked everything. So that was coming out. You could play it for a couple weeks beforehand. So yeah, that brought it up to number 1. I think this is the most fascinating number 1 we've ever seen.
This is hilarious though, because it's like we've known for a long while that this game was going to be like coming out and stuff, and there would probably be some interest going into it. But the fact that it's number 1 in NPDs is hilarious to me, because I never would have expected a free-to-play game that had a bunch of like WB licenses and stuff would be the absolute number 1 selling game for a month.
I didn't even know it was eligible.
No, I didn't know either. It's a downloadable only game.
Yeah. Well, just even the fact that it's free to play, but like, I guess that should say something though. People were like so into wanting to play this game that they're willing to buy into it, just play a couple weeks earlier when they could just waited and got it for free. But
yeah,
I played it for like a handful of matches online. It's actually a pretty good game. Like it's not like a super great, like this will never be like an esports game. No. I don't think, but I think it is a fun game to play. Like if I had friends like that want to play online, I'd be more than okay with playing this game with friends.
Dude, I played a couple of games of it online and stuff, but at the same point, the online in and of itself, the connection stuff, I did not have a positive experience with it.
Oh, really?
Even though I had it connected to the my router and stuff, my PS5 and everything else like that, it's like there are specific types of lag that are present inside of when I was playing it. Plus, you're just trying to get like things get used to that's the combat and stuff like that. But I just could not really jive with it from the last time I did play it. But yeah, the connection stuff, the online matchmaking and stuff kind of threw me off a little bit. Because especially when it comes to fighting games, the most important thing when you're trying to play against somebody is you want to at least have as close to precision as possible when you're trying to play against other people, because even like the slightest couple of frames of delay and stuff will impact an entire move thing you try to do and execute.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I only played a handful of games. I played on my Xbox though, but
yeah,
It worked for me. I didn't have any issues, but yeah, it was okay. I'm nothing to write home about. But yeah, I think that's like I said, that's one of the more interesting number ones I think on the NPD list. But Gables, let's move on.
Yeah.
2. There's a Disney Marvel showcase happening on September 9th.
Mm.
So far all we got is the D23 Expo, which is like their big like Disney like kind of like
Mm-hmm.
E3 type of thing, where like they announce a bunch of TV shows and movies and stuff like that. They do at this event. They do it every 2 years. Um, so that's happening, and so they're actually doing a video game part of thing of it this time. It's its own separate thing.
Mm.
They had a Disney thing earlier in May, and that's where they announced the Jedi Survivor, the Fallen Order
Okay.
sequel. So that could be there as well. But this is a digital showcase. It'll debut during the D23 Expo on September 9th. Has already promised further updates on Marvel's Midnight Suns, which just got delayed to next February.
Right.
Amy Hennig's Marvel ensemble game from Skydance New Media, which that's pretty interesting because like that deal just got announced a few months ago. So I don't know. I'm very interested. She's doing like that, like yeah, that ensemble game. So I'm curious, what is that? X-Men
Hmm.
maybe? I'd be cool with that.
Well, we could
Uh,
speculate it could be like an X-Men
yeah.
sort of game.
Or like it could be like Fantastic Four. It could be anything. There's a lot of ensembles. Like,
That's
um,
true.
I don't know. I mean, I just hope Amy Hennig is finally able to put a game out because she has had terrible luck the last like decade.
Well,
I think,
absolutely. Ever since she left Naughty Dog and stuff, it's been like tumultuous project after tumultuous project that she can never really get the game that she wanted to direct or whatever
yeah,
out.
yeah. Her and Jade Raymond, who was like one of the main people behind Assassin's Creed, like the two of them have had just like the worst luck and partnership deals for the last decade.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then they said there's gonna be more details on the Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga, and then an update on the Disney Dreamlight Valley, which is their like Starlight Valley. What's that? Stardew Valley.
Okay.
That's like their Stardew Valley ripoff game.
Right.
Um, so I don't know. I mean, I'm interested because like when you hear Disney and Marvel, you think okay, like you're thinking like okay, Walt Disney stuff or like maybe like Kingdom Hearts. Ugh. And then you think of like all the Marvel games they could announce. But yeah, remember they bought Fox. So they own a lot of IPs. And Gables, you
Mm-hmm.
want to know what's on September 10th?
Now what?
The Ubisoft event.
Oh God, the UV Ford.
Yes. And you want to know what Ubisoft is making?
Other than Assassin's Creed.
An Avatar game.
Oh my God. Yeah, here we
And you
go.
want to know who owns the Avatar IP now?
Fox.
That would be Fox. And you don't want who owns Fox?
Disney.
Disney. You're goddamn right, Gables. Gables is following along. He's doing a good job. Are you following along, people? I feel like I'm doing like Blue's Clues right now. He's like, what's that? Is that a clue over there? Gables, we're fucking killing it. I should be on Blue's Clues. We just figured out Blue's Clues. We just figured out Blue's Clues.
Now
We
we're
just figured out
really
Blue's Clues.
drunk.
Oh, Gables, you just one up me, and I'm okay with that. I'm not gonna argue with Ray Lewis. He might kill me. Jesus, that was really good. I'm actually really impressed by that one. That was really good. But also, I'm not that drunk. I'm a little drunk, but I'm not that drunk. I've only had 4 beers. Asshole. Question me my goddamn drinking. It's Oktoberfest. Leave me alone. I'm gonna be like this for the next 3 months. Or until I run out of Oktoberfest. Only got 2 left, so it might be soon. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm just interested because this is the first one ever. So it's kind of like we don't have a standard.
Mm.
You know, we don't have a bar.
Right.
Um, so I just don't know. Like we don't have a like how long is this gonna be? Like we don't know what's not gonna be there. Like I don't know.
Right.
Like I mean, like what's your expectations coming into this?
Okay, so going into this sort of like this Disney event, this D23 event, I don't really have a lot of expectations for that in and of itself. For the video game portion of it, I think it's mostly going to be stuff that we have had already announced. So, like, say, Midnight Suns and stuff. More so of like that Star Wars, like Fallen Order 2 and stuff of that sort.
Survivor.
If if we are fortunate, we may potentially see more footage and say of like the not just like the sequel to Spider-Man. Maybe like a tease, maybe like another trailer or something to
Ooh,
that, because
yeah.
like Spider-Man 2, we haven't seen anything really concrete from
Oh, the
that ever
Wolverine game.
since. Yeah, that's a potential thing that may happen as well because we've only seen a teaser trailer for Wolverine. That potentially could be showed there as well, but that's the thing. It's a lot of speculative things of what could be seen, but at the same point, it's very possible we may just see a handful of the select games that we initially have known, but as far as maybe like a new game that may be like shown off right there. Oh my gosh, I'm really, God, I really want to see if if there's anything new in regards to say, God, any type of like Marvel sort of fucking superhero game. So if it's like a new X-Men or like it's like a new whatever, it's like
Yeah.
that's what I personally would like to see. But like I was stating before, my expectations for this whole like say the video game portions of this D23 and stuff, it's relatively low because I do not
Yeah.
expect a lot of major surprises. I expect to see more of what we've already known, and plus the emphasis of why some of these games were pushed to next year, especially with the Midnight Suns thing being delayed and that and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I feel like it's very easy to go on like the Nintendo Direct thing when like they announce it 2 days in advance,
Yeah.
and then everybody loses their fucking mind. Um, like I said, it's easy to do that because we don't have this is the first one ever, so we don't have a bar. We don't know where to set expectations for this thing. But I don't know. I'm gonna be optimistic about it because they own a lot of IPs that I like. I'm a big MCU fan, so
Right, right.
I am excited for if we get like I'm all in for like good solid Marvel games coming out. Maybe we hear about that Black Panther game that is apparently EA is making.
That's
Uh,
possible too.
I think if they may anything there, at the least I would expect maybe not like gameplay or anything, but at least confirmation on what she's working on. Um, like maybe she tells us maybe it is the X Men game, maybe it's a Fantastic Four game, something like that. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, it could just be like more like Lego Skywalker Saga. Here's more DLC or something like that. But I don't know the fact they're doing this and they're breaking it off into its own thing, and then maybe that Jedi Fallen Order or Fallen Survivor, what the fuck it's called now. Um, maybe we finally get some gameplay for that because
Well,
the rumors are saying that's coming in March. So
let's
maybe
think of it
we
this
finally.
way. Dude, let's think of it this way. Because they had to break it off into its own portion and stuff, maybe that's more clear evidence and stuff that we may potentially see more stuff announced than we initially are thinking.
Yeah, yeah. I think yeah, I think like yeah, I think that hopefully they do because when you break this off into your own thing, you are creating expectations.
Right.
Before, where I think D23 is like they had like I said they had the Disney thing, the Star Wars thing back in
Hmm.
May. Like if it wasn't for Jeff Grubb telling us that the Fallen Order thing was going to be there, like I don't think 90% of gamers would even pay attention if they're not
No,
interested.
absolutely
If
not.
yeah, if they're only interested in that, they wouldn't. If they're only interested in the Fallen Order thing, they would probably wouldn't pay attention to everything else. So
True.
no, it's definitely. I mean, you have my attention. And kind of what I was going to was like we see like what the Ubisoft thing did the next day is what they make an Avatar game is we see that a lot during E3 where like a game like someone has their event on like EA would have their what did remember like one year they had their event on Saturday and they showed
Hmm.
Anthem and
Oh
then
God,
like hey
yes,
we're gonna show
right.
more tomorrow at Xbox's event we're gonna show you gameplay on Sunday at the Xbox event. So maybe there's like some like synergy there. Where like, hey, we're gonna show you this, and then usually we have a PlayStation event during that week of September. It's usually the Thursday, so that would be the 8th. If I have my days correct, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the correct days. Um, maybe that doesn't happen, or maybe Spider-Man's at the PlayStation event. It's like, hey, check out the Disney thing tomorrow, and it's there. So I can see I wouldn't be shocked for some synergy. Or maybe it's like they push it to the week after. It's like, hey, and like PlayStation's already announced, hey, next week there's gonna be this thing. Disney has an event. Boom, announce do something with Spider-Man 2. Hey, check back at PlayStation's event next week for more detail. Boom, synergy.
You
Here we
know,
go.
Tyler, I thought just occurred to me right now. It's like it's September in and of itself is awfully feeling like the month of June in years past because there's like lots of conferences that are going on and now there's like lots of like supposed things coming out as well. Like
Yeah,
hearing about the rumored potential like Sony thing that's supposed to be happening in September too, and like all that other shit that's supposed to.
Nintendo normally does as a direct in September.
Yeah, normally they have in the past done like a September direct, and like Nintendo fashion, they like reveal it like a couple days before it initially happens and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. So that always leads a lot of the most hardcore fans to speculate and try to guess and do this all the random shit. But September is feeling like what June was supposed to feel like.
Yeah, I just need to put them all on a weekend so I can take that week off of work.
Oh my
So that'd be
god.
great. Like tell me like a month in advance too. Uh, but yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, like I think it's just down. Gaming's all year round. Gables.
True.
Gaming's for everybody. But before we get to all those big events in September, well, we have a big event on Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's happening at 11 o'clock Pacific time, West Coast, Best Coast. Jeff Keighley is doing an event. The hell was that? Sorry, there's someone door just banged. But yeah, Jeff Keighley's doing an event on Tuesday. He's saying it's supposed to be about 2 hours long, according to a tweet from him. Yeah, next Tuesday, new brand. Okay, sorry, I'm just kind of scrolling through here. But like I said, showing off of the event is a new trailer for The Outlast Trials, which is the sequel, or it's the new Outlast game. People don't remember the horror games. This kind of leaked a couple years ago, and they revealed it. I believe the Game Awards they finally revealed it, but it's like their multiplayer game. I don't know what it is, but I don't think I'm guessing it's like a Dead by Daylight style game. That's my guess, but no idea there. We're gonna see more gameplay from Gotham Knights. What do you fucking do? We've seen that game they literally have had like 10 different things going on for this, and I don't think anybody cares. Also, High on Life is gonna have a new gameplay there. That's that game that was shown up at the Xbox E3 event. That the Rick and Morty guys are making that one. That game actually just got delayed from October, I think 18th or the 20th. It got delayed from October to December. I got it written down here somewhere. December 13th. So it's got a 6-week delay. And also we have a Honkai Star Rail. I don't know what the fuck that is. Kills might know. I don't know. Have you heard of Honkai Star Rail?
No, absolutely not. That's not the first I've actually heard of it.
Okay, me too. They're also going to do some more. They're going to have a trailer for Hogwarts Legacy, which also got delayed to next year. There's going to be another gameplay trailer for Callisto Protocol.
Okay.
I don't really need to see anything from that. I just want it in my veins at this point. The Expanse, a Telltale series, is going to be shown off. They're the people that God, who is it? It's the people that made Life is Strange.
Okay.
And Telltale are working on this together. It's just too bad they're working with a shitty IP like The Expanse.
Right.
I'm kidding. I know people love The Expanse. I thought it was kind of boring. Mike Sutton, or that we know, Olive Douche, as the kids call him, won't shut up about that show, and I don't have the heart to tell him I don't like that show. But moving on. I made he kept telling me, man, you just gotta get to like season 2. And I watched season 1 like 3 times. And season 1's okay. And then I watched like 3 episodes of season 2. I was like, this isn't really that good. And then people were like, well, you gotta wait till it got Sci-Fi canceled it, and then Amazon bought it, and they gave it a budget, and it got really good. I'm like, okay, cool. What season's out? Like season 4? No, I'm good. So.
Oh, I hate that, dude.
The show is actually like the characters. I love the world building. I love a lot of things about it. I don't want to get into it right now. I'm gonna piss a lot of people off. Yeah. The show's. I think the show would be really good. I think the show sounds excellent, and I love space, so you think I'd like it. But, anyways, Dying Light 2 Bloody Ties DLC. They're gonna show off that one for the first time, I believe. Sonic Frontiers, Gables. Maybe we finally get a release date for that one.
Well,
apparently. Yeah, hopefully they delay it to next year because no one wants that game. Looks like garbage. I gotta talk about this for kind of a minute.
All right, let's see.
Thank you. Well, I'm not. This isn't show and tell. I'm just gonna talk for a minute here, Gables. I might move my hands a lot though. I'm lifting the leg up on my knee. I'm getting comfortable. I need to. Oh, Gables is putting his knee up as well. Okay, I need to talk about Sonic Frontiers.
Okay.
I've been hearing a lot of Sonic fans talk about this game, and they're just like, I just hope it's like a 7 out of 10. It's like people like everybody's like wanting to delay the game. It's like, it's just got to be good. I'm sorry, you guys sound like you are like an abusive relationship with Sonic. Where he's like he's an okay guy. You just got to get to know him. Like, I'm sorry, like what you've been abused so badly that you just accept a 7 out of 10 from a franchise that is supposed to be a beloved game from 30 years ago, one of the most beloved franchises of all time, hasn't put a good game out. Well, for me personally, has never put a good game out. They're all garbage. But maybe Sonic Mania. I'll give you Sonic Mania. Um, but I just don't understand it. Like, people like defend the werewolf game. People defend the game when he goes back to medieval times. Like, oh, it's a good game. You just gotta get to know him. You know, it's like, fuck off. These games are bad. And like, why are you accepting sevens from Sonic? We accept sevens from Final Fantasy Zero. That game's fucking awesome. Okay? We should not be accepting sevens from Sonic the goddamn Hedgehog. I just don't understand it.
Well, let's see.
That's my TED Talk.
In regards to Sonic, when it becomes the franchise in and of itself, there's something that is referred to, and this has been going on for years now, as the Sonic cycle, where a new game's announced, a lot of fans get all excited about it, then next we see gameplay footage and stuff, and there are some of the most hardcore that'll be super excited about it, but there's going to be most of us are looking at it, it's like, oh god, this looks like it's not going to be that great. The game finally comes out, it gets either bad reviews or whatsoever, but the most hardcore Sonic fans are going to love it anyway, only because of like this and that, and then mostly it's generally disappointing and stuff like that, and then it kind of repeats itself, in that sort of way. And
It
and it's been happening like for the past 10 to 15 years. And
like 30.
well, yes, of course, Tyler. Yes.
It's like the Dreamcast.
Ever since Sonic has been out, the most popular games, the best games in that entire franchise were either on the Sega Genesis or on the Sega CD. And quintessentially, ever since 1999, when Sonic Adventure came out, all the way up until now, it's been a roller coaster ride of either mediocrity or supposed, oh, hey, these games are somewhat decent, It's like, I don't know how many times I've tried to get into, like, certain games, let's say, like Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2, which, you know what? There's some aspects of those games that can be really enjoyable, but these two games are the quintessential 6 or 7 out of 10. In my honest opinion, because there's camera issues, there's a lot of different types of flaws in terms of, like, say, well, the fucking voice acting
game itself
horrendous.
is bad. Yeah,
but
chili dogs.
The thing about the Sonic franchise in of itself, it's like you put it in a eloquent way where, yeah, it's like an abusive relationship to where it's like there's some bits of good, but then you eat a gigantic amount of crap. And it happens every single time where you think it's going to change, and all of a sudden it goes into, like, something completely different. The only times I can remember actually good Sonic games ever since, like, say 93, 94 or something like that is, like, Sonic Mania is definitely one of them. Sonic Colors, when that came out for the Wii, that was fine, I mean...
It's like a 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, like I said, that was fine in that regards, but... it's just one of those things where I want Sonic Frontier to be a good game. I don't want it to be just a random 6 or 7 out of 10. I mean, the bar for Sonic right now is higher than it has been, in my honest opinion, for quite a long time. And that's because of how popular the movies have been, the live-action ones, the first and the sequel with Jim Carrey and all this other shit.
Yeah.
And then
the Mania like 5 years ago.
And then Mania, yeah. It had to
and now they won't ever work with that company again.
It had to take a fan, Christian Whitehead, his studio and stuff, in order to make Sonic the Hedgehog a relevant video game franchise again by going back to the roots, because Sega and even their creators could not figure out how to make a good Sonic game like they did 30 years ago.
Yeah, because even they made 4 and that was bad. Like, how the fuck do you fuck up 4?
So how do you go forth and make a good Sonic game by Sega standards and stuff? You go to the fans, the most hardcore that have been working on what Sonic fans actually did want in that retrospect,
Right?
and go forth and hire them on to make a fucking Sonic game for you. What happened? That's the best Sonic game in like over fucking 50 years.
Yeah, it's like, wait,
Sonic
you guys
Mania.
didn't want to go to medieval times or like fucking have this weird anime one or Sonic Colors, or you didn't want to
We know
fucking
about the freaking horrendous ones. I mean, Sonic '06 with that type of bullshit.
boom.
Sonic Boom, the rise of Lyric, and that type of shit. I mean,
Yeah, you don't want to like, kiss a girl. That's weird. A
that
human
was
girl. That
Sonic
was weird.
06, and that one was
Yeah, I
incredibly
know.
weird and fuck,
Yeah.
you can't even search too far like on YouTube and stuff, and without finding like a freaking by searching up Sonic '06 without searching and finding like the Game Grumps doing their initial playthrough of like 100 plus
Oh my
episodes of
god,
fucking
that yeah,
Sonic
one of the
'06.
greatest things we've ever done. Yeah.
Yeah, it's obviously it's one of their most well-known games they've covered in that series, but it stems from the fact that Sonic as a series and stuff, he's still a popular character. He's absolutely one of the most popular characters in the past 30 years in gaming. But what's kept Sonic from being like exponentially even better than that has been how subpar and how terrible like business decisions has that Sega has made over the years in regards to presenting him and stuff. And it feels like now in current day they actually got onto a decent path with Sonic, but then we see something like Sonic Frontiers, which gives me, it gives me like mixed feelings. And from what I hope, from what this game is eventually going to be, is something that's a great game. From what I've seen from the footage so far, it feels like a game that needs to be delayed for another 4 or 5 months because the outside
Years.
explorable world, you see pop in. You see all these random like artifact type of shit that you would not accept in any other type of like open world games. Like hell, you know how people had so much beef with like Pokemon Legends Arceus because of how the graphics were, or even how like Pokemon Sword and Shield was in terms of that type of graphics. I mean, granted, there were some graphical hitches because of hardware limitations from the Switch and stuff, but when you have a game franchise that's on modern platforms like a PS5, like an Xbox Series X, or even on some high-end PCs and it's looking like that, you know you fucked up somewhere.
And that game's coming to Switch too, by the way.
Yes, it is.
Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, like Sonic feels like it's like that. Like every group has, like every friend group has that one person, guy or girl, that's just can't be single. Um, that like they either always get back together with their ex,
Right.
or they immediately start dating somebody new. And it's like, oh, this time it's gonna be different. It never is. And I'm gonna tell you, people. Let me tell you, Sonic fans. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm not trying to make fun of you. I'm not trying. I really am not. I just feel sorry for you at this point. Um, like I'm sorry you picked the wrong franchise. You picked the wrong side in history. And I feel like it's okay. It's okay. You can come over to the right side. Come over to the good side.
Well, initially, I'm
Come
not
over
gonna
here.
go forth and go to that extent. It's like the fact remains is I want Sonic Frontiers to be a fantastic game. I want the Sonic fans to enjoy something that they've been enjoying for years now. I am more so pissed off at Sega and how they've developed these games over the years that string along their fans so fucking like just basically by freaking drawstrings at this point, like just the most tiniest of margin, like the not even the thinnest of thread of like strings and stuff like that, just shoving them along instead of dragging them along and like just baiting them
Yeah.
with, oh hey, this is gonna be this type of fantastic world you're gonna go forth and try to play in, and all of a sudden you're just presented with a huge lard of shit.
Yeah. Well, you say they've been enjoying for years now. I find that hard to believe because there's been nothing to enjoy. But the right side of history, Gables, is the obvious side of history.
And what's
It's
that?
the Strangers of Paradise history. Come over us. Come over here. Come over here, guys.
Oh, and he comes back to
That
Paradise.
roundabout way. Come on over to the Strangers of Paradise is a great game.
Oh.
Game of the year. It's better than Elden Ring. That's right. I fucking said it.
Oh.
But anyways, Gable, this supposed to be about Gamescom. So Gamescom also Return of the Monkey Island Ghost Simulator. Apparently it's gonna be 2 hours. I'd be more interested if it was an hour. I'm gonna watch it, of course, probably eventually. But yeah, how about you, Gills?
I'll be perfectly honest with you. For this conference, I'm more so excited about how the new Outlast game is going to be,
Yeah, I think
quintessentially.
it's just gonna be a Dead by Daylight ripoff. That's my guess.
Well, at worst, it's probably a Dead by Daylight ripoff, though. I really wish they just go back to what made the original so fun to begin with. It's like you're stuck in an insane
Yeah,
asylum, you get to escape, you got to use this camera to go and navigate things, and basically do
yeah,
not get killed. That's the simplicity of the original Outlast, and it's part of the reason why that was one of my favorite games the year that it came out. Because
yeah.
I played it with friends. You and I, as well as Jake, played it during Extra Life. I laughed my ass off with you two guys, where just yelling, you screaming your heads off. It was a fun time.
I was a little bitch about it. You're right. You're right. Yeah. I mean, like, I definitely was pretty disappointed in two. They try to make it like not open world, but more open areas.
Yeah, it didn't
I do
work.
miss I do miss the asylum where it was like more closed spaces and stuff like that. So I'd be all aboard a sequel, that or good sequel. Rather, I mean, two was fine. It wasn't bad. It was just I
Just
wanted.
have it inside like a giant like mansion or some shit.
Yeah, and well, this is a multiplayer game, so this will not be that. So unfortunately, but let's move on to some other news this week. Gables,
Mm-hmm.
um, Wave Race 64 is on expansion pack now. So people that are excited about that, hey, good for you guys. Um, I don't know, Gables, you got anything to add to that one?
To be perfectly honest with you, I did play a little bit of Wave Race 64 last night, because it's one of those games where, yeah, I understand it came out in like the mid 90s and it was one of the launch games for the N64. But at the same time, it's just a lot of curiosity that went in with me. I'm like, okay, well, let's see what I can enjoy from this one. It's like I'm initially happy because we get a chance to experience like older games, say like a Wave Race 64. Because I know Nintendo hasn't hardly done anything with that franchise ever since Blue Storm on the GameCube. But from the time, it's a fun play if you want to go through some of the time trials and stuff, maybe fool around with it. I personally was just trying it out last night because I wanted to try to learn how to do like little stunts and stuff like that, and I actually did go through and get like one of the best scores and stuff for the first initial course. So I was kind of happy with that. But yeah, you know what, Wave Race 64, I'm kind of happy with that for the N64 release for the month. But yeah, I'm really hoping that we get we get some more like other substantial ones in the coming months.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't got too much out of that one, but I'm happy for people that are happy. Um, Tales of the Borderlands
Mm,
apparently is coming October 21st. This was announced back in like April, shockingly.
right.
Um, people don't remember this like a Telltale game. It was actually one of the better Telltale games post like Walking Dead season one.
Yeah.
Like I would put it at like it's probably second or third behind the Batman one they did. As far as like the best stuff they did, the Guardians of the Galaxy one's really good too. I recommend people check that one out. But like it was incredibly funny. It was really well made. Um, and this is the sequel to that. But apparently like they're bringing back some characters, but they're not gonna be like
Oh.
mainstays. Sounds like it's gonna be like a whole new cast. We don't really got any details on it. But it leaked on Amazon, much like the Dead Island 2 stuff.
I
Um,
wonder if this is
yeah,
before or after Borderlands 3.
uh, yeah, I don't know, cause like I know Tales of Borderlands takes place after 2.
Yeah,
I didn't even played 3 at all, so I
I
wouldn't
haven't
even
played
know.
3 at all because I've read the reviews at the time. I know they have all their DLC and stuff out now, and
Yeah,
if I really was interested in playing it, I would have already like just gotten some on the deal. But I'm
yeah.
I'm kind of
I
interested,
bought it for $10 and never played it, so
dude.
that should tell you my interest level.
I will say it's like even with Tales from the Borderlands, that's one of the few Telltale games I actually did play through and
Yeah, I
enjoyed.
remember you loved it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was fantastic because it got right off from Borderlands 2. I enjoyed a lot of the character interactions, a lot of the friggin' things, that whole scene and stuff with the the one of the dudes and stuff with the finger guns in that friggin' cafeteria and stuff like that.
mm,
That was one of my favorite things about that whole game.
yeah,
But if they initially do it like say a prequel before 3, or even if it's like say during the events of Borderlands 3, and so that would be fine by me. I mean, I enjoyed that Telltale style of game for Borderlands, and if this is anywhere close to how the original was, then I'm game.
yeah.
I'd love that.
Yeah, it's just interesting because like Telltale is not involved in this one. Obviously, Telltale is a different
Right.
Telltale now, even though they got some of the same people. It's not all of them. But yeah, I'm interested. Apparently, they're still doing 5 chapters. No idea if they're gonna come out all at the same time or they're gonna like break them up. Hopefully, it's like I think most gamers are just over the chapter stuff, like
No shit.
separating them out. Like Life is Strange: True Colors still had 5 chapters, but they dropped them all on the same day.
Right.
So hopefully they just do that. Like you can still have the chapters, just make it all one package. High on Life, like I mentioned during the Gamescom thing, got delayed. It was supposed to come out, I believe, October 20th or something like that. It was mid to late October. It has now been delayed to December 13th. That's that Rick and Morty game of the guns talk to you. So hey, I'm okay with that because October is pretty fucking nuts for games.
Yeah.
And obviously December is pretty light. Like November is not as crazy as we're used to as of yet. Gamescom is still happening though. And then like December, all we have right now is Callisto Protocol on the 2nd, and now this. I think this is kind of it for that December time frame.
Yeah.
And then surprisingly, Death Stranding coming to PC Game Pass on August 23rd. So yeah, pretty big deal. People are kind of freaking out about that. 505 Publishing actually published the PC version.
Yep.
Sony owns the IP, but they own the PlayStation. It's very confusing to me. I don't understand it exactly, but like basically, Sony owns the console IP, but I believe they don't own the PC IP. So
yeah, that's why 505 actually went through and I just did the publishing things for the Steam version and stuff of Death Stranding. So it's kind of confusing in some hindsights, but at the same point, it's like that's the reason why it's only coming to Game Pass on PC.
Correct. Yes. But yeah, that's pretty much it for news this week. Gables, let's jump into some what we've been playing.
All right.
I'll go. I don't have too much to add. I played some more Fortnite. I got back-to-back dubs this morning.
There you go.
Doing pretty good. I hit a Kamehameha. That's fucking stupid. That's worse than any Sonic game I've ever seen. I hit a couple of those with Indiana Jones to get a win. That's pretty sweet. I didn't realize it. If you win 2 games in a row, you get a victory crown royale. Because if you win a game, you start your next game with a crown, and you get like double XP during the game. And then if you win that second game, you get a victory crown. You get like a cool emote that you can only get for winning 2 games in a row. So I got that.
So it doesn't stack with every single win.
Yeah. Which is pretty cool. So I've got 3 W's now, which is awesome. So I got my first one a couple weeks ago, and then I got 2 back-to-back this morning. So that's pretty awesome. It's pretty cool hitting a Kamehameha with Indiana Jones. That was pretty sweet. I killed a guy with I killed 2 guys with John Wick with the Kamehameha. That was pretty fucking awesome. So it's actually really fun. I'm really digging I took a couple of screenshots. I'll send them to you on my PlayStation. But
it's just the absurdity of it, it just kind of tickles me and stuff to where it's like fucking doing Kamehamehas and stuff like that as Indiana Jones or like freaking John Wick or even like fucking John Cena and just getting some shit.
Oh yeah, you can do the focus. What was it called? The
fusion
thing
dance.
The fusion dance.
Call
yeah,
it the Batara
you do that in there.
Dance, yeah.
Yeah, I found Cam's house, which is pretty cool.
Oh,
they
yeah.
have the training ground in there.
Oh, yeah, the Kame
I found
house,
that. Yes, the Kami. What the fuck? I don't know. Dragon Ball's stupid. But Gables, what if I told you this is the best Dragon Ball game of all time and you haven't played it?
Oh, brother. I understand. Well, I understand where you're coming from. Dragon Ball content and stuff, and I do understand how absurd a lot of this freaking Fortnite stuff is, though. But yeah, Tyler, come on, dude.
Gables, what if I told you that something just leaked today?
What? Okay.
Coming to Fortnite rather soon. Destiny 2 content is coming to Fortnite soon.
Oh my god.
Gables, I think this game was trying to tell you something.
It's probably telling me to play Destiny 2.
I think it's trying to tell you PLAION. Play on.
Oh, play on. Now play on the PS5. Yeah.
Play on the PS5. Play with me. Come on, Gables.
I'll tell you what. I will go forth and consider playing Fortnite.
Yo, you said the same goddamn thing last week. And the week before that, you son of a bitch. God damn, I fucking hate you. Anyways, I also played Madden 23. I hate you so goddamn much, Gables. You're the Sonic games of my life.
Dude.
I'm sorry, that was really mean. That was the meanest thing I think I've ever said to anybody. You are not a 6 out of 10. You're a 5-star man. I'm sorry, Ray Lewis. But don't murder me. You're just gonna see Gables like like cops are gonna find him by a dumpster throwing a suit in the garbage covered in blood. Why is it covered in blood? No, don't worry about it. We're never gonna worry about that again for some weird reason. But anyways, speaking of murderers, Madden 23 is out now. I meant that because Ray Lewis was on the cover of it one time.
Awesome.
I play more. I've been playing that. I've got like 7 8 hours into it. I played like 4 or 5 games so far.
Okay.
Really digging it. I like the big changes they made the franchise. I like how they've done that, the scouting stuff like that. Signing contracts, you can like customize the contracts a lot more, making it more intriguing to like you can't just overbid people to get players. Like now,
Okay.
players have single have interest levels. So like they want to go to a warm state, or they want a no tax state, or they want to go to a team where they're going to be a starter right away. Where it's like, well, I just want to sign you to be a backup for depth. I don't want you to be a starter. It's like, well, then I'm not coming to your team. It's like, well, shit. So I like that where it's like you just don't need to pay the most money to get them. Now it's like, now you gotta like either really overbid for them, or like they're not coming, or you gotta find people that are interested in going to Wisconsin because I'm a Packers fan. Um, I love the new the passing mechanics where like now you can throw it, you can kind of like angle where you want the ball to go. So
Right.
that's really cool. So like now it's like it's the thing that like I've been like doing instinctively for years, where it's like I want to do the thing they do in the game in like real life, uh, or it's like when I throw the ball and it ends up like going straight to the defensive back, or it's like, well, that's not at all what I wanted the ball to do. It's like I wanted like to go over, I wanted to go over his shoulder, or I wanted my receiver to kind of come back to the ball a little bit more, or
Right. Right.
I wanted to like kind of angle that pass where like the receiver would stop between the two defensive backs like right in the hole, so I can like throw the ball to him. Instead, he kept running right into a defensive back, and now the defensive back picked it off. Now you can do that, which is awesome. It's not perfect at all, but it's been really really good. It takes a little bit. It's definitely a lot of rewiring of my brain of like instincts of like I've put 100 plus hours, like a couple hundred hours usually every year into Madden, and it's a lot of kind of like, okay, well now like I have to hit this button to like kind of angle it up, or like now when I pass the ball now I have that extra reticle, or like I said, like it's just a lot of like muscle memory stuff that I now have to like slowly rework. So that's kind of like been my challenge, and I love like now like the way you control like the running back or like a receiver when he's in the open field, where it's like now you can like kind of cut a lot easier, and it's like now it doesn't feel like, I don't want to say like like you're trying to move a ship like where it's a slow turn, but it's like it's not that, but it's like it definitely feels like in the past games where like you once you made a decision to like for the running back to like I'm gonna go this way, like I'm gonna go between the left tackle and the left guard, and then oh shit, the hole just opened up between the center and the left guard.
Hmm.
Well, it's like, well, it's too late now. I'm already committed to this path. Instead of having a 10-yard gain, it's a 1 yard gain.
Right.
Like now you can like actually make that cut back to get to that lane and hit the hole. Or like like if you're a receiver in the open field and you see like you can actually like kind of cut, or you can kind of like stop, or it just feel like you have a lot more control over what your character is doing, which is pretty
Okay.
good. Like, so that's been really awesome. So I'm really 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 happy with Madden 23 so far. So
Okay.
yeah,
So
I
with
think
time with
it's
Madden 23 so far and stuff, how do you think it compares so far to say like last year's game?
uh I don't want to say night and day, but I think it is major steps in the direction I want it to go.
Okay, so it's definitely more enjoyable than like last year's version, or possibly even like
Yeah.
the 2021s.
Yeah, I feel like the last two like have not been the last few have not been major game improvements. It's been about system improvements. Like they've been like focusing a lot on like franchise and ultimate team and like face franchise, like kind of getting those working better. And I feel like this is the first time in a few years where we've had drastic game experiences.
Right, right. For myself, I know for a fact that I hadn't really played a Madden consistently since like about maybe 2016, 2017, and that's because of kind of like the lack of the review scores in that regards, but it's
Well, the
not.
review scores are never going to be great, but
The
yeah.
review scores are never going to be great though, and plus the word of mouth and stuff for some of the other stuff, like the initial bugs, the initial type of crap that you initially would see inside of these type of games from the same system year after year and stuff do pop up. But
Yeah.
I tried out 2021. I thought it was okay. I thought the whole single player mode aspect of it was
Yeah,
Eh.
don't the phrase the franchise is complete garbage and everybody hates it. Nobody likes it. Like Long Shot was awesome from like 2018, I think. That was incredible,
Hmm.
and it's just like nobody's happy with Face of the franchise. And no, even this year, like don't play like play franchise. If you want to play the game, just don't do Face of the franchise. Or you could like see if you could set it up to like turn the story stuff off. Cause yeah, that like I've heard that part's like I heard it's better, but it's still not like well people wouldn't call it great. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, like if you just want to like play the game, like yeah, like you have Game Pass. It's on EA. You can play for 10 hours on your uh with the EA Play with Game
Well,
Pass.
right, but because I would be
So
playing on the Xbox One and stuff, there are going to be features that are going to be
oh, you're
not
right because
there,
it's
as
not
opposed to
next gen.
say
Yeah,
the
you
next
don't
gen
get all that
versions.
stuff.
Because
Yeah,
I would not be able to get, say, the workable wide receiver routes like you would inside of that
yeah,
experience and
you're right.
stuff.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, that's a
but
good point.
on that type of terms, though, I mean, I have seen initial things like the gameplay for Madden 23. I thought there were some things that looked like they were improved, and obviously, all the obvious jank that you're going to see in regards to certain blockers or certain this or certain that, But
Yeah, I've
yeah,
honestly I've not seen a single like literally have not seen a single glitch or a bug. But I like I said I played like the 3 preseason games, but I played like 4 minute quarters, so pretty short.
okay,
'Cause I do 8 minute quarters, with the 15-second runoff, and I played 4 regular season games. But I've had zero glitches. I've had the game freeze on me once,
okay,
and that's it. So this is definitely like especially like playing when I was playing early, like because the game came out officially on
right,
Friday,
right.
but like you were able to play it on Tuesday, on actually Monday. Um, Usually like that first like 4 or 5 days were like a lot of not like major issues, but like a lot of bugs, freezing, glitches, stuff like that. And like I said, I've had none. So it's not saying perfect, but I've had no significant issues since
Well,
the game came out.
you know what?
So
I will say it's stuff. I do look forward to hearing more about how you are enjoying Madden 23 because I am the type where I am curious about playing a new football game, but at the same time, the last couple of years I hadn't really played too much of those Madden games. I end up going to my Switch for online and playing Tecmo Bowl because
yeah,
that's relatively a short kind of experience, but at the same time more enjoyable in terms of what I am initially wanting from a football game, which is I want to go into the game, play as my favorite team and stuff like that, dominate and to get to the Super Bowl and fucking win it. That's
yeah.
how I've been ever since I started playing Madden since like '98. So
Yeah,
yeah.
no. So I mean, that's something like I'm a guy that likes to play franchise and just play, a ton of seasons over and over again, and build my team over time. So, everybody has a different thing. Some people just play for ultimate teams. I mean, usually there's a sale kickoff weekend, so like a couple weeks is usually like $20-$30 off.
Right.
And then that game, I mean, they're sports games; they go down in price real fast. So, but I mean, Gables. In the meantime, if you don't want to buy Madden, you can always play Fortnite. So there is that.
There is that.
There is that. You can do a Kamehameha with me, and we can do a fusion dance. But anyways, Gables, since you hate me and you don't want to play Fortnite, what else you been playing?
All right, so in regards to games that I've been playing, I did start up Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I am
Hmm.
4.5 hours into the game in and of itself. I will say, this game does a fantastic job of introducing you to its battle system. There are plenty of tutorials for you to get accustomed in regards to how to play the game. It's not like, say, vague as opposed to, say, what I've seen and heard from people that played the last entry of the game, to where they gave you a whole bunch of different features. They didn't really go into that much detail in terms of explaining the battle system mechanics or like the reason why you would use certain things over like some other things. But what I can say, Tyler, it's like I am enjoying going to like the overworld areas of this game and like encountering different types of enemies and stuff and just leveling up and stuff. There are all sorts of various little resources that you can collect and like try to satisfy for like completing little side missions for other characters and say like a specific type of factions. Like the beginning of the game, you start off with Colony 9 and stuff, and you can collect little bits of resources here and there to give to other people from that colony and stuff, so you can build like affinity towards these specific characters, improve their relationship stuff. But in terms of combat and stuff, it really reminds me of a mix between like an action RPG, but it kind of has certain like MMO RPG type of elements to where you can select a button, you can go and arrange yourself like behind an enemy or towards the side of the enemy to either stun them or get them in a basic for like a combo. Like the beginning combos they initially teach you in this game is you go to the side of an enemy, you go and you slice them, it causes a break animation, which in tune gets one of the other party members to do something called like a tempo attack. And then lastly, there's like a daze attack that your healer can go forth and inflict right there. And that is a 3-hit combo to where it basically stuns the enemy and you're going through and like putting out as much damage as possible and that type of stuff. At first, it took me a little bit to get used to this type of style because from the last couple action RPGs I have played, I've continuously, okay, I'm going to mash the button right there to do my various attacks and stuff, and then go away in regards to avoiding getting hit. Well, because it's more structured like, say, like an MMORPG in terms of that type of stuff, it doesn't matter how far away or how close you are, you're going to get hit and you're going to go forth and do damage. But this is literally my first time I've gone and invested myself trying to play Xenoblade Chronicles as a whole, because I do have a couple of the games. I have tried the original. I have tried like X. I haven't really gotten too much into them and stuff because other games popped at the time. But Xenoblade Chronicles 3 definitely has my attention in regards to not just the battle mechanics, how simple they are to actually understand, not just because of that. There are different types of character stuff, which I'm actually getting kind of invested inside of how the story portrays itself. Because you start off to where you are a part of this colony here, Colony 9. You're basically like a part of a giant faction that's supposed to be feuding like with another faction and stuff in order to get like in order to kind of endure like this 10-year lifespan, right? So everybody inside of this world apparently lasts about 10 years, quintessentially. And basically, after that 10th term is up, they get cleansed and basically they pass on and stuff like that. And it kind of cycles itself, right? It kind of just cycles itself kind of like from that mind point. So it's a little bit more kind of darker in tone to where, yeah, there are some that don't make it to like the total 10 years and this and that and stuff. But I am kind of liking the overall tone of the story so far. I'm at a point to where there were a couple of plot twists that have happened already after 4.5 hours in, and I'm kind of digging where that kind of direction is leading to. But where I left off in Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is I'm getting used to a sort of a defender style of class. So I'm getting used to that type of character play style because eventually you're going to be placed in a situation to where you have these 6 characters, right? And then all of them have their different types of moves and different types of things that they do. So from the predominancy of what I've played so far, I've played as an attacker, the lead guy Noah and stuff like that, his attacks and this and that. Before the initial plot point twist and stuff, I played as the medic. It's kind of like a medic slash gunblade or whatsoever, but she's fairly easy to use. She's a basic healer to where you go forth, you do like a team heal, or you can cast something called Daze, and that way you basically wait for your other teammates just to do like a break and then like a tempo thing, then like a Daze type of thing to stun the enemy outright. She's more like a support character to where it gets healing, some buffs, some this and that. So it's a standard sort of RPG like experience from that type of view. But the music is fantastic. It gives you that sense of explorational feel to where nothing so far has felt like overtly boring. There are definitely a bunch of enemies and stuff, and they're definitely like a lot of high level enemies that you want to avoid at all costs. Like I was like level 5 and I'm going through with my party terrain. I could see some monsters are like level 42 and I'm like, oh no. Oh, no, 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 no. I want to stay far away from those things. I almost engaged in one once. Like, oh no, no, no! I don't want to wipe this early. But I'm actually surprised at the level of quality that was put inside of the designs, especially in the environments and so far. Because I know that there are plenty of like hardware limitations that the Switch has at its point in its life cycle and stuff. But the way things are animated, the way things are presented, and there's not like a hell of a lot of pop in and stuff. The frame rate stuff is relatively smooth. I would guess it'd be like a 30 frames per second sort of like type of feel to it. It's not like laggy or kind of chugging in certain portions, but I'm having a lot of good fun with this, and I haven't really gotten back to it in a couple days because of the aspect of I'm freaking tired of shit. But yeah.
Yeah, well, throwing people downstairs will do it to you, Gills.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Doing like a freaking like a body splash off the fucking stairs.
Kamehameha. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, that's what I've been playing this week.
All right. Well, very cool, Gables. I hope you enjoy that. Keep playing more of it. But since you're not playing Fortnite. But anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. If you like all that, please, like I said, top of the show, go down if you haven't done it already. Look in the show notes. Click the like button by Gables Junk Area. Hit that 5-star review. Leave a comment. Subscribe. Ring the bell. All the things everybody else says you do. Really appreciate if you did it for us. And yeah, tell your friends. Share it, please. But I was your host. I was Tyler.
And I've been Colonel Gables. Until next time, everyone, play some fun games. Enjoy your life. But most importantly of all, thank you for listening to another fun-filled episode of the Drunk-Nerds podcast.
And hey, Gables.
Yep.
Too sweet.
Too sweet, man.
Bye, guys.
See ya.